everyone, I am Tacet, and today I'm going to be going over the War in the North event in which the Dwarven Slayer and North Render are both added to the game. So let's get into them. As with any week that the kingdom reaches 10 or more troops, I will be going over all 10 troops that the kingdom has. So first, before we do that, let's just go over these two. The two new ones, Dwarven Slayer. He is fairly okay early on, but he'll fall off pretty quick. He does 50 damage at all levels. For some reason, he gains magic, but he doesn't actually have anything that scales off of magic. But he deals 50 damage to an enemy and then kills itself. Basic premise of it. It uses quite a bit of mana. It's pretty good with his summoning troop because obviously he's going to die pretty quickly. You probably want him in the first or second slot so he can just take all that damage. Then you can use his ability right before he dies and then replace it with a summoning troop or something of the such. Like a spider or anything that summons anything. And that's the basic premise with him. North Render is basically just a blue spawner that also gains attack. Pretty good against other looping decks since it has Chilling Touch, which will be able to prevent anything from actually being able to get extra turns because they'll be frozen. And it just gains attack, does blue. It's pretty good with Valkyrie since they're both going to be creating blues and they're both from the same kingdom, so more opportunity for bonuses. So before I go into showing all the teams, let's do the redeem code for this week. It is TUTGX79XHG. And this week, I'll actually be handing out 10 redeem codes on my Twitch stream. I'll be streaming all week to try to get Global Rank 1. It's at twitch.tv/Tacet the Terror, all no spaces. So let's get into some teams now. Actually, let's use that gem key. Let's just see. A War Sphinx. I got War Sphinx last time when I used a single gem key. It's so useless. Anyways, let's get to these teams already. First off, we have the North Render. I put him in with a basically a blue loop. We get Winter Imp up quite a bit because it gains 1 magic every single time blue. And we have North Render, Vinoxia, and Valkyrie all doing blue. You can even replace Vinoxia with Sea Troll if you don't happen to have her. And the basic premise here is you basically just keep upgrading Winter Imp with its last trait to make it do more and more damage. Next up, probably one of the most trollish ones. This actually used to be a bit of a deck before Scaleguard could poison himself. Not that many people used it, but lower in the ranks it was somewhat decent. It is Serpent, Dust Devil, Scaleguard, and Siren. What we basically do here is Serpent creates a bunch of reds, gains life, so it's actually pretty tanky, especially with Agile if you get that trait. And then poisons the first 2 enemies. So poison creates red, life. And this works pretty good with Scaleguard, because Scaleguard does a lot of damage. Poisons and does, the main thing is he does double if the enemy is poisoned. And he has Empowered right from the start. And if you actually look at these traits, Empowered, Empowered, Empowered. Everything except Serpent has the Empowered. You kind of just use Serpent as a tank since it has the Agile HP gain combo. And if you also notice on Serpent, it has the Venomous third trait, which will be working with Scaleguard. And we have Dust Devil here, who won't really be doing too much damage, but it'll be shuffling up the team. And since Serpent only hits the first 2, it'll allow it to be able to cycle through and poison all of the enemies. And Siren, of course, just does some damage and then creates a bunch of manas on the board. You just want to try using that on a color on the enemy team. That would get you a color that you currently need. And all of its casts are really cheap. 3 of them you start with at the beginning of the game, so it's pretty easy to keep casting with it. Next up, everyone should know, Valkyrie. You can basically use Valkyrie with anything that uses blue. Is there really? Basically anything. Other alternative, of course, is just Triple Druid it or something like that. And there's just so many combinations with Valkyrie. I might even just make a whole video dedicated to Valkyrie builds because of how important she is for soul farming. If you have a Valkyrie, you basically just want to put her in your team. There isn't any situation in which you wouldn't. She's arguably the best troop in the game due to how well she can farm. Next up, we have a Frost Giant team. Frost Giant, a little bit weak out of Arena. In Arena, he's actually one of the best troops in Arena. But out of it, he's just pretty average. He deals damage to a random enemy, which is what makes him pretty average. If it was targeted, that would be a little bit better. And then it's boosted by skulls, which is what makes it really good in arena because that's a 1-to-1 ratio. So there's like 8 skulls on the board. He's doing so much extra damage. And then he freezes that enemy, which is even more on top of that in case it doesn't die from that attack. Traits are pretty average, but they are giant oriented. He has that giant bond, so he does work pretty well with a bunch of giants. Also, the bonuses that you get for Stormheim, this used to be the Zagene bonuses, but it's been switched to Stormheim like a month or two ago. You get a total of 14 life for having all 4 Stormheim troops, and then you also get that +2 attack, which will kind of help. So you get some really tanky things. Actually, doing this combo with all 4 of them will give Berserker the highest starting HP possible within the game. So that is actually pretty strong, especially since his ability is already fairly decent. And you just kind of loop with Gerald Fire Mantle and just cast whoever else you have when needed. And next up, this was one. Wait, which one was this? Oh yeah, this was one focused mainly around Berserker. We just showed him a little bit earlier, actually like seconds ago. He just deals a random damage. But what's really good about this is both his bottom value and his top value is scaled by magic. He's the only troop in the game that works like that. And he does deal damage to himself and gains attack. But that damage that he deals to himself is somewhat beneficial because he has Frenzy. And it's as his first trait too. So as long as he doesn't have armor left, he's going to be gaining an attack, an additional attack. So you're basically just trading off 2 HP for 1 additional attack if you have that trait. And then we just have a Hellcat. We just saw for this from last week. It creates a bunch of red, or transforms a red, and then red deals damage to a random enemy. Then with the Fire Link on both Merilith and Emperina, you'll be able to easily fill up Berserker, Merilith, and Emperina. Plus, that's also why we set the double red banner. So they did all fill pretty quick, and then you just kind of loop through them. Oh, and Emperina would, of course, be used on Berserker, who already has a really high HP, which would just bring it even higher, since it does a full heal, plus cleanse, plus attacking. So he's just going to get super high attack and HP. Next up is the Dwarven Slayer. Definitely one of the oddest troops, since it kind of kills itself. You have to use a summoning troop if you're going to use this troop. There's basically no way around it because he's going to die as soon as you cast his ability. Earlier on, I would advise it. Later on in the game, it's kind of useless. If you notice my values here, like they're all way in the 60s and above. This isn't going to one-shot anything in the late game. But earlier on in the game, this is going to be really powerful because there's basically nothing that it doesn't one-shot. Like, even you can see him right now, like, even with all my kingdom bonuses, you can see he's ultra rare level 17. He can almost one-shot himself. He's, or if he was on an enemy team. He has 53 total right here. But earlier on in the game, pretty much any time between, before level 200-ish, I guess, sometime around there, maybe 150-ish, this will be able to one-shot pretty much everything. And other than that, you have the Hellcat, who will be filling up Gerald Fire Mantle and both Dwarven Slayer. And then you just have Gerald Fire Mantle loop. Giant Spider, of course, will be replacing out the Dwarven Slayer and basically anything else with a little red spider, which will help gain the reds in case both of them somehow die. Next up, Keghammer is actually the epic that you get for completing the Stormheim Kingdom. He has fallen behind a bit. Before he was actually released, this was going to be like really powerful, but that was before like kingdom bonuses and stuff existed. So there wasn't that much magic in the game. It used to do only 2, now it does 5, but it's still always pretty much been pretty weak. Like a 5 magic reduction isn't going to be able to do too much when troops like later in the game have over 20 and stuff like that. So I'm not a particularly strong troop. Maybe if that was rescaled a bit. He is really good against all giant teams since his ability does double damage to giants. But full giant teams aren't that popular right now, so it's not that effective. Other than that, he has the Giant Slayer, of course, he's a counter to giants. And he has Empowered, which does make it somewhat a bit more decent. But compared to other brown-yellow, you don't really have a need to get Keghammer up. But if you do, I've made a debuff magic team. It's Flesh Golem with Keghammer. We have both Necromancy on both the Flesh Golem and Valkyrie for those bonus souls, and of course the Druid as the main damage output, as well as Cake Hammer. Well, Cake Hammer mostly just for giants, but Cake Hammer to poke Druid for the majority of the damage on the team. Next up is Ice Witch. This is actually a pretty fun team. I think it was like really good in 1.09 or something, and then at this point when all the frozen other stuff came in, I fell off of it because Ice Witch used to be like one of the only troops that could actually freeze, and then of course Glacial Peaks came in, and that completely changed that. And of course, the basic premise of the team is just to have Gloomleaf tanking up front, be able to damage all the enemies, get that cast up quick. You're getting, on all your troops, you're going to be getting 2 magic, 2 life, 2 armor, and 1 attack. So a nice variety of everything, and that's a lot of magic. So with Ice Witch, if you get her arcane and everything, she's going to be gaining a bunch of extra damage. You're going to be having Dryad here who's going to be doing a bunch of healing and stuff like that to make sure both of these never die. And if it does, then Trent will have like a ridiculous amount of attack and armor and maybe even HP and shield from the Dryad, and will basically be unkillable at that point unless like Devour or something. Next up is for the Zephyrus. A okay troop. He has a 3x ratio. One of like the only ones in the game. I believe the other one is Barbarius. Well, it is split damage, which is pretty common in this game. Just randomly splits the the full amount of damage that he has onto the enemies, and it's boosted 3 times based on the amount of yellows he destroys. So really good with Geralt Fire Mantle. We put Serpent up front for the evasion and HP, who will be creating reds, which will help Geralt Fire Mantle and Valkyrie, and then you kind of just loop between those and cast Zephyrus as needed to get the extra damage. And lastly, the other really strong troop, which I've been showing in quite a few of these teams, is Geralt Fire Mantle. What makes him really good is he's basically one of the only troops in the game, or actually he might be the only troop in the game, I forgot to check before this video, that has 2 things that trigger on 4 times or more matches. He gains 2 HP every single time, plus he burns a random enemy every time. While in most cases you won't always be using his leadership, this combination of these 2 is really, really powerful. And I've mentioned it many times before, his traits are actually a lot better than Shegra, because Shegra can only ever burn the first enemy on the opposing team, whereas Geralt Fire Mantle can burn the entire opposing team. And Geralt Fire Mantle as a troop is basically around the premise of you put a bunch of reds and yellows on the board, and keep looping with it and make sure that the board stays replenished with reds and yellows, so you can keep getting extra turns and just keep using your ability, which will also in result make him a bit more HP, plus burn the entire enemy team. So that's basically what we have here. We have double Geralt Fire Mantles on both sides in case one dies like a maul or some kind of skull spam. Anointed one here. If the first Geralt does die, it's going to be getting really tanky with HP and attack. And then it also converts greens to red. And on top of that, we have Hellcat, who's converting any color to red, plus doing extra damage. And that combination, you'll basically always be able to convert something to red or use a Geralt Fire Mantle. The reason I have it set to purple instead of something like red or yellow, like the ones that Geralt cast or something like that, is because we want to make sure we keep as many reds and yellows on the board as possible. So we don't want to set our banner or anything like that, or else the AI might start taking our reds and yellows from us. If we start setting a banner like a double purple, or even a double blue or something, I mostly do double purple, so Hellcat's more important than Anointed one for keep looping. If we set it to something like this, the AI is going to focus more on the purple than they will on trying to deny our reds and yellows. So let's just show a team or 2 of these. Let's take our tribute real quick. Come on, 5 or more. Go, go. Exactly 5, yeah. Okay, so let's go into PvP. Go into, oh, this might be a dangerous team. Very dangerous, like the most meta team right now. Let's see if we can actually do it with, this is gonna be hard. Let's see, which one of these teams could even destroy that? Maybe if I use like the all HP, the all giant team. I kind of wanted to try, this team, but I don't know if that's actually going to be able to keep up with them. Okay, let's do it. We might actually lose right here. That would be pretty sad. I haven't done a single PvP match this day, but let's just try it. Let's see if this can actually take out a all-common and rare team. Take out one of the best teams in the game right now. Well, it's not the best for defending, but it's one of the quickest invade wins right now. Okay, at least the queen maps aren't mythic, so that's going to help us a little bit. Not much. Okay, so our serpent's almost already up. Unfortunately, our dust devil has basically no effect on them. So many moves we can do. I'm going to start taking out the Valkyrie actually. Or Valkyrie or the queen maps. I don't know here. Let's see. I guess the Valkyrie actually. Because we don't want her to be able to get blues on the board. We want to deny them as best as possible, as well as take them for ourselves. So from here, well, I don't need the other thing, so let's just use this. Shuffle them up real quick. We'll be able to kill that other queen map too. Just get these two out of the way, then the team won't be able to do much. So we'll take these skulls. We just got a poison on that queen map, so if we can get our scale guard back up, we can just kill that first queen map because our trait just poisoned her. So we're going to use this on Valkyrie and hope it hits on red and hope we get an extra turn from it. That's a lot to hope for. Well, to hit red, actually we got both, so that was pretty lucky. So we'll just take some more mana. Got some extra red we didn't need. And now we can kill either the Valkyrie or the Queen Mab. Obviously the Queen Mab is a little bit more dangerous. The skulls, we could kind of take the skulls. I don't want to take it yet. I'm going to hope that he doesn't take that so we can next turn. Well, he kind of took it. He didn't take it the right way, but he took it away from us being able to do it. Also, if you notice, I set a red-blue banner at the beginning of the game. Blue so Serpent can get up easily, and red to make sure if our scale guard doesn't get any surges, he'll still get up in 2 matches. Instead, oops, wasn't paying attention. He'll still be able to get up in 2 matches. Well, he's frozen, our Serpent, but we need these colors, so taking that. And that was really lucky. We got double poisons. I don't know if you noticed that on the other match, though. Both times triggered poison. So let's use this. Let's try getting those reds. And just to recap right now, we are winning with just commons and rares. This whole team is just common and rare. Common, rare, common, rare. 2 commons, 2 rares. Against like one of the best teams right now. And now at this point, we just try killing him. Try getting scale guard back up, but there's no mana for him on the board. I don't know if the Dust Devil glitch is fixed, and I kind of don't want to cast this on him just in case it is. I almost know for sure it is, but I don't want to like lose for no reason at this point. So we're not going to actually cast this. Let's put reds back on the board. We need reds, even if it doesn't get an extra turn. We just need them on the board so we can take them. Of course he's going to deny us because we need them so badly.
Mana surge.
There we go, skull damage. So next attack source will kill him. Well, Serpent will. Really? Okay. So at least we got a mana surge. He'll take some reds probably. Oh no, he's good casters, but that's good. We can take these reds and that'll end it next turn. Well, let's try casting ability, see if we can get it. There we go, perfect. And I'll kill it. Yeah, so that team actually did fairly well. Triple empowered plus a Serpent to tank. So not bad team at all. And fairly cheap to make early on. Though a little bit, it would take a little while to trait them all. But as far as actually obtaining all those troops, it'd be ridiculously easy. Okay, so let's do one more. Looks like an all-goblin team, yep. So let's use our Gerald Fire Mantle team. Okay, so at this point, we have fast on him. So if we could take a blue, that'd be nice. And we can indeed take a blue. No Surge though, so that kind of ruined that plan. Because I was going to do it there. He would have taken that and ruined it anyway, so I guess that's not too bad if he didn't get a Surge. As you saw there, we just got double burn because we have 2 Gerals. Having multiple of them does indeed trigger the trait. Same as all other troops that have multiple. Or if you put multiple on the team.
Mana surge.
Okay, so let's actually take these blues now. And hopefully get an extra turn on the greens and reds. So aside from just denying all of screens, which is really good against all Marauder teams, we just gained so much mana and put a lot of reds on the board. So now we should be able to loop a Gerald. So we just cast that there, and there we go. Already starting to loop. It looks like we might be a little mana short. Let's see. Let's take this. Take that. And let's Gerald again, see if we can get lucky. We did miss. Nope, but the Cascade got us saved. So let's take away these blues. And just keep looping.
Mana surge. Mana surge.
Board has enough that we can probably get a Gerald cast. Yep, there it is. And maybe we can use a Hellcat now. The board's looking a little bit low, but let's just... actually, we don't even have the ability to use Hellcat again. Greens, you can see we can't use it for an extra turn. And is there a Hellcat cast anywhere other than on yellow? Because that wouldn't be a good idea to convert yellow, obviously. Oh, it looks like we're out of things we can do. So let's just convert these purples.
Mana surge.
So I got our Gerald back up. He's gonna replenish. Actually, we might be able to use our brawler just to get our. Well, actually, what is he named? I completely forgot his name. Anointed one, to get an extra turn somewhere. But we actually can't. So what we're gonna do is we could still cast it just for the mana. I think I'm just gonna risk a Gerald cast, even though there's not too many on the board. And we did get lucky with it. And the board shuffled in a way that we can cast this now. Just convert those screens away from him. And just keep looping again. Let's see. Looking for a Hellcat cast. We could use Umbreon. Hoping that hits that. Of course it misses.
Mana surge.
It was a pretty low chance though. And let's go and just kill it off now. Since it refuses to die that way.
Mana surge. Mana surge.
And we almost just got a map there too. Out of nowhere. So this is going to be taking away some of the manas that we need. Since it's getting automatic extra turns. So let's use our Hellcat again. Use on these purples. And just keep looping the Geralds until it's over. We might actually be able to keep looping right now. Let's see. There we go. 1. Can we go for all 3? 2. And 3. There we go. So that's Stormheim. You may have noticed I didn't do a full Stormheim team. Mostly because I showed the Berserker one. But for the most part, you're going to be using Valkyrie, and look at that, 102 HP, that's pretty funny. Another one that's 99. But for the most part, with Stormheim troops, you're mostly going to be using Gerald Fire Mantle and Valkyrie from Stormheim. And you're going to be using them in teams that don't really use that many Stormheim troops. But anyways, that would do it for this video. Leave a like if you found this helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.